On the last part, we set up for the Saiyans to learn spirit control in order to harness the true power of fusion. Paibara introduces himself stating that he's the elder of the Yardrats and would be the best candidate to teach the Saiyans spirit control. The group mentions that he looks exactly like the first Yardrat they met, asking what could he teach him that the first couldn't. Well, not only am I the eldest of my species, I'm also the most proficient in using my spirit, ergo spirit control. Vegeta asks him how long it would take for them to master spirit control, with Goku saying they're on a bit of a schedule to get back to their home planet. Paibara mentions that if he had to give a rough estimate, it would take about a year for them to fully understand and utilize their techniques. The Saiyans are okay with this, since that leaves them with more than enough time to learn spirit control and get back home, not anticipating the android's arrival. With no time to waste, the Saiyans immediately get to training with Paibara, struggling to learn to sync their body and spirits at first. Back on Earth, Kami is lamenting about his new power, curious about the source of it and why it happened so suddenly, coming to the conclusion that the Saiyans must be the source behind his power-up. With his current power, I put him in terms of raw energy at the same level as Piccolo when he was fighting second form Frieza in the original timeline, but Kami has never been and still isn't a fighter of any sort. Even though he's not a fighter, for a sorcerer this is substantial and allows him to access magic previously not thought possible. Sensing the incredibly dense power level, Piccolo goes to the lookout for the first time in a long time. Seeing Kami in his youthful state, he can only remain shocked as he realizes how strong he's gotten. Piccolo asks Kami what is the meaning of this, with Kami telling him that he himself isn't entirely sure, but chalks it up to the Saiyans wishing for him to become stronger somehow. Piccolo hearing this is just jealous, saying how he's being left in the dust even by his other half, asking Kami to fix up the room in spirit of time. Kami tells Piccolo that he will do everything soon, as he needs to harness and hone his power in order to be able to work as efficiently as possible. Piccolo is just in awe at the power Kami has on display, asking if it's possible for him to reach this level as well, with Kami responding that he cannot be sure and doesn't want to tell him something that isn't true. Begrudgingly, Piccolo accepts this answer and tells Kami that he will be training away from the lookout and to let him know when everything is complete. After about 3 months, one day on Earth the sky turns black. With Piccolo noticing this, he zooms back to the lookout to see Shenron summoned and looking like Kami's shade of light green instead of his usual dense green color. As Piccolo arrives to the lookout, Shenron bids Kami farewell with the Dragon Balls coming back to the lookout instead of scattering across the planet. Piccolo asks Kami why the Dragon Balls didn't scatter like normal, with Kami responding that it was something he designed them to do originally, but seeing the state of the planet and the use of them, he deemed this was unnecessary. Piccolo wants to know if the Room of Spirit and Time is completed, but Kami tells him that he's only just getting to upgrading the Dragon Balls, with them now being stronger than Namek's original Dragon Balls, and being bigger than them now as well, each being the size of a small car. These Dragon Balls have a lot less limitation than even the Namekian Dragon Balls, but still cannot grant any wish as a certain set would be able to. Piccolo is concerned with how long the Room and Spirit of Time will take to be finished, but Kami tells him not to worry. He should be able to upgrade the chamber in about 3 months' time. Back on Yardrat, we see that Goku and Vegeta are coming into the knowledge of spirit control as both of them can already use spirit control at will, even tapping into force spirit fission at times. Gohan, however, has been struggling to really hone his spirit due to his young age. He doesn't have the same mental capacity as his predecessors, and also his untapped latent rage is just clouding his mind more often than not. Gohan can at least use instant transmission, as the technique is an infant technique of spirit control. In the original timeline, it took Goku at least a few months to learn this, but this was a Goku who was not actually worried about an agenda, just learning new techniques in the ways of the Yardrats. Paibara studies Gohan's struggle and inner turmoil, assuring the boy his capabilities of overcoming his limits, mentioning that if he would like to be the successor to his father as a warrior, he would need to overcome his mental obstacles. The young Saiyan heeds the elder's words, looking back at his father with sheer determination, and the desire to make his father proud. He begins training harder than ever, with him eventually catching up to his predecessors. 3 months pass again, and we're honed into planet Yardrat. The group is now bidding the friendly aliens farewell, as they journey back to planet Metamore. As they arrive, the elder welcomes them and tells them their training can now begin, since they have finally completed the prerequisites. As the Saiyans begin to train, we pan back over to Earth, as Kami has finished upgrading the time chamber, and Piccolo comes to check in his progress in doing so. Kami tells Piccolo that he's right on time, as he finished the time chamber hours ago. Piccolo mentions that since they have a neural link, he already knew that, with Kami chuckling, saying that he knew, he's just pulling his antenna. Piccolo asks what's new with the time chamber, since nothing has seemed to change from the last time he's seen it. Kami starts with telling Piccolo that the time of the room flows differently now, and is completely under his control. with any changes necessary able to be made on request, instantly he might add. He continues on mentioning that the room itself is now dependent on organisms' entrance and isn't a constant dimension anymore. Essentially that the room itself doesn't exist if no one's in it, with every room entered being a completely new space. With this, he also mentions that he can control the gravity at will as well, and since it is its own dimension, there are no limits to what this can be increased to. Piccolo is shocked at how much Kami has upgraded the chamber, with the weight of his new power finally settling in. Piccolo asks Kami to make the room have 10 times the Earth's gravity, with Kami replying that was always the base gravity in the room. As he enters the time chamber, he takes a few steps and is completely brought to his knees at the sheer weight of the chamber, beckoning on his decision to have it at 10 times gravity, but ultimately deciding that he must push through it if he hopes to catch up to Kami. A month passes and the Saiyans all touch down on Earth, with all the Z fighters quickly noticing their presence and its absurdly high power levels. The Saiyans all head to Capsule Corp, with the Z fighters in tow, arriving to see the Briefs family having a picnic. Bulma is happy to see Vegeta again for the first time in a year, and although he doesn't show it, he's definitely excited to see her as well. Goku doesn't hesitate to tell Vegeta that they will go to Kami's lookout in the morning, to which Vegeta says no, he wants to spend time with his wife because he's been in space for over a year. Before Goku could even give Vegeta a response, there's a bright light that appears directly over Capsule Corp. With the group looking up, everyone notices what looks like a ship starting to descend. As the ship approaches the ground, the Z fighters tense up, not knowing the key signature coming from inside. The pod opens to reveal a young boy, not much older than Gohan, but still a teenager, with purple hair and what seems to be a Capsule Corp logo on his jacket. Seeing this, Bulma instantly jumps up to confirm, telling the group not only is that a Capsule Corp logo, but it's also a jacket that she owns. Suspicious, Vegeta starts to interrogate the boy. With a nervous look on his face, Trunks can only reply that he's here to speak to Goku and he's sorry. This makes the prince angry, as he goes on to tell the boy that anything he can say to Kakarot, he can say to him. Trunks just ignores Vegeta's response and turns to Goku, asking if they can speak in private, with Goku just smiling and replying sure thing. As they fly away, Vegeta curses Goku for going off with a stranger so easily, and Gohan tells him no matter what, his father can handle himself. The two Saiyans land a few blocks away from the group, and Trunks begins to explain the situation on who he is and why he's here. Trunks does tell Goku that he can go Super Saiyan, but explains that it wasn't enough to defeat the androids, with them eventually taking everyone's life. Goku asks Trunks what happened to him in the future. With a nervous but serious look, Trunks explains that Goku dies of a heart virus not too long after the androids started their initial attack. As a prerequisite, Trunks tells Goku to take the medicine in front of him right now, so no problems arrive in the future. With the information he has now, Goku assures Trunks that he has nothing to worry about, and tells him that he should train with the rest of them before he leaves. Trunks tells Goku that he doesn't really have the time right now, but he will be back before the android's initial strike, so that would be a good time for them to train. Trunks flies back to his time machine, and as he does, Vegeta begins to bark at him, with Trunks just closing the pod. As the time machine flies up, Trunks specifically makes eye contact with Gohan, throwing up a peace sign as it disappears. Goku begins to explain the situation to the group, with everyone just in dismay that another global threat is on the horizon. As the group disbands, Goku looks at Vegeta sternly, telling him that now it's not just a fun training trip and they actually may need to get stronger. Vegeta tells Goku that he understands, but since they have 3 years until the threat appears, that he's still gonna take a break for a week to spend time with Bulma. Goku flies off with Gohan, walking in to see Chi-Chi ecstatic to see her boys return, with them sharing a big group hug. Goku stops her and tells her that he's sorry, but there's another threat on the horizon and they need to get prepared for it. Chi-Chi tries to tell Goku that she wants Gohan to take time for his studies, but before Goku could even say anything, Gohan steps up and tells her that him being excluded is not an option. Too many lives are at stake for them to hold fighters out of this. She's stunned and disbelief that Gohan would even suggest such a thing, commenting that he's becoming a delinquent, with Goku just laughing, rubbing his head. Goku tells Gohan to get some rest. They have to start training as soon as tomorrow to prepare for the androids. As Gohan nods, Chi-Chi invites the Saiyans for supper, with both of them smiling in anticipation. The morning comes, and Goku is already standing outside shadowboxing. As Gohan approaches him, Goku tells Gohan they should use the ship for gravity training as they spar, so they'll see better gains. The duo makes their way to the ship. To their surprise, the Z fighters are all already there, sparring with each other, happy to see Goku and Gohan arriving. As Goku descends, he asks Krillin what's going on, as he just replies no one gets to opt out of this fight. Even if only a little, some help is better than none. Goku nods at Krillin with a serious smile, seeing Yamcha and Tien behind him still locked into their sparring match. As they start to spar, Gohan is curious to ask Goku if he thinks he'll be able to turn into that golden form he has. Goku hears this and begins to get nervous, explaining to Gohan that he does believe he can transform, but that it won't be like he did. Gohan asks him why he thinks that, and Goku begins to explain what happened on the ship when he was fused with Vegeta, warning Gohan that if left unchecked, his power could eclipse everyone else's, and he could potentially do more harm than good. Gohan looks at himself wondering if he'd be capable of harming innocent people, telling his father that he would like to do more mental training than physical, for now at least. Gohan has gotten some mental fortitude due to training for spirit control, but unlike a realization through his own fault, Gohan has yet to be pushed to his breaking point, so no one knows if Gohan's rage is tamed just yet. And with that, we'll end off there. So what did you guys think? What do you think will happen in the next part? Let me know with your comments and suggestions down below.